Hello everybody, welcome to my channel.
Kristin Scott Thomas is a distinguished British actress known for her elegant screen presence, linguistic versatility, and powerful performances across English and French cinema. Born on May 24, 1960. In Redruth, Cornwall, England, she grew up in a military family and later moved to France, where she would become fluent in French and deeply embedded in the European film scene. Career highlights: Scott Thomas first rose to international prominence in the early 1990s, particularly with her role in 4 Weddings and a Funeral, 1994, where she played the witty, melancholic Fiona. However, it was her haunting performance as Katharine Clifton in The English Patient, 1996, that earned her widespread acclaim, including an Academy Award nomination for Best Actress. The film solidified her as one of the era's most sophisticated leading women. Other significant roles include Gosford Park, 2001, a Robert Altman ensemble film where she played a glamorous aristocrat; The Horse Whisperer, 1998, opposite Robert Redford, showcasing her ability to carry emotionally complex roles; Nowhere Boy, 2009, as Mimi Smith, the stern but loving aunt of a young John Lennon. In French cinema, she has delivered many powerful performances, including in Il y a longtemps que je t'aime, I've Loved You So Long, 2008, which earned her a BAFTA nomination and revealed her depth in dramatic roles outside of English-speaking cinema. Style and persona: Kristin Scott Thomas is often associated with roles that require intelligence, emotional restraint, and subtlety. Her characters tend to be composed, introspective, and complex, mirroring her own somewhat private, understated public persona. She has often spoken about her ambivalence toward celebrity culture and her desire for deeper, more meaningful creative work. Stage work beyond film: Scott Thomas is also an accomplished stage actress. She has taken on demanding theatrical roles in both English and French, including performances in The Seagull, Betrayal, and Elektra, demonstrating her classical training and range. Honours and legacy: Scott Thomas was appointed an Officer of the Order of the British Empire, OB, in 2003 and later became a Dame Commander, DBE, in 2015 for her services to drama. Her contributions to both British and French arts have made her a unique cultural bridge between the two countries. Kristin Scott Thomas continues to act in film, television, and theatre, often taking on mature, introspective roles that reflect her growth as both an artist and a person. Her career stands as a testament to the enduring power of grace, intellect, and emotional authenticity in acting. Early life and education: Kristin Scott Thomas was born into a military family. Her father, Lieutenant Commander Simon Scott Thomas, was a pilot in the Royal Navy and died in a flying accident when she was 5. Her stepfather, also a pilot, tragically died in similar circumstances. These early losses would shape her introspective and often emotionally complex portrayals on screen. She was educated at Cheltenham Ladies College and later trained as a drama teacher at London's Central School of Speech and Drama. However, disenchanted with the British system, she moved to Paris at 19, studying acting at the prestigious École Nationale Supérieure des Arts et Techniques du Théâtre, ENSAT. This decision marked a pivotal moment. Paris became her adopted home and France, her artistic second country. Bilingual career in film: Kristin Scott Thomas has managed something rare in modern cinema, a truly bilingual and bicultural career. In France, she is as respected as in Britain. Often referred to as la plus française des actrices anglaises, the most French of English actresses. Her mastery of the language and culture allows her to transition seamlessly between English and French roles, earning critical acclaim in both. Some of her notable French-language films include Il y a longtemps que je t'aime, 2008, a subtle, moving performance as a woman released from prison after 15 years. Elle s'appelle Sarah, 2010, a journalist uncovering Holocaust secrets in a story that blends past and present. Le Confessionnel, 1995, an early role that helped establish her in French cinema. In both languages, her roles are often emotionally reserved, even icy at times. But with rich internal lives, characters torn between duty, love, guilt, and self-preservation. Notable English-language performances. Her international profile includes a wide array of roles. From romantic dramas to ensemble comedies and historical epics. Highlights include The English Patient, 1996, perhaps her most iconic role, earning her an Oscar nomination and a BAFTA win. 4 Weddings and a Funeral, 1994, her sarcastic, heartbroken Fiona gave comic depth and a touch of tragedy to a beloved rom-com. The Horse Whisperer, 1998, a deeply emotional performance that balanced strength and vulnerability. Darkest Hour, 2017, as Clementine Churchill. She provided a strong emotional counterbalance to Gary Oldman's Winston Churchill. She also played Lady Bellum in Gosford Park, and more recently starred in Slow Horses, 2022. A British spy thriller series for Apple TV+, proving her enduring relevance in today's television landscape. Stage triumphs. Scott Thomas is revered on stage, where she has taken on Shakespearean tragedy, Greek classics, and modern drama. Some acclaimed performances include Electra, Old Vic, 2014. Her raw, passionate portrayal earned critical raves. The Seagull, 2007, and again in 2020, she played Arkadina with brittle charm and maternal conflict. Betrayal, by Harold Pinter, a nuanced performance in one of the most demanding modern plays. She has been especially praised for bringing psychological precision and emotional restraint to live performance, qualities that mirror her film work. Philosophy and public persona. Kristin Scott Thomas is known for her private, reflective nature. She has frequently expressed discomfort with celebrity culture and once stepped away from film altogether to focus on theater. Citing frustration with the lack of substantive roles for older women in cinema. She has said, "There are great parts for women, but they're usually written for men and then changed." This comment reflects her interest in redefining the space for women in film and her subtle advocacy for more complex, age-appropriate roles. Despite her fame, she avoids publicity and rarely speaks about her personal life. She was formerly married to French gynecologist François Olivens and has 3 children. Awards and Honors. Academy Award nominee, The English Patient BAFTA winner, Best Supporting Actress. 4 Weddings and a Funeral. César Award nominee, multiple times for her French performances. Dame Commander of the Order of the British Empire, DBE, honored in 2015. Chevalier of the Légion d'honneur, France's highest civilian honor. Awarded in 2005. Legacy. Kristin Scott Thomas is more than a celebrated actress. She's a cultural figure who transcends language, nationality, and genre. She represents a rare kind of actor. One who chooses artistry over fame, complexity over ease, and Europe over Hollywood. Her elegance, discipline, and emotional intelligence have earned her a unique place in film history, not just as a star, but as an enduring symbol of artistic integrity. Key collaborations and artistic choices. Throughout her career, Kristin Scott Thomas has gravitated toward auteurs and directors known for complex, character-driven stories. She tends to avoid blockbuster spectacle in favor of emotionally rigorous work, a decision that has kept her artistic credibility exceptionally high. Notable directors she has worked with: Anthony Minghella, The English Patient. Their collaboration yielded one of the most enduring romantic tragedies in modern cinema. Robert Altman, Gosford Park. She was part of his ensemble masterpiece, contributing sharp wit and social nuance. Luca Guadagnino, A Bigger Splash, in this sensual psychological drama. She played the intense ex-manager of a rock star, alongside Ralph Fiennes and Tilda Swinton. Philippe Claudel, I've Loved You So Long, a pivotal French role that showed her range in minimalist interior storytelling. She also has a recurring collaboration with Ralph Fiennes, her English Patient co-star, with whom she shares a deep theatrical and cinematic rapport. Directorial debut: North Star 2023. In 2023, Kristin Scott Thomas made her directorial debut with North Star, a semi-autobiographical drama about three sisters gathering for their mother's wedding. The film starred Scarlett Johansson, Sienna Miller, and Emily Beecham, with Scott Thomas herself playing the mother, a commanding matriarch. Themes in North Star reflect her own life: generational memory, emotional restraint, female relationships, and the unspoken tensions within upper-middle-class British life. It was well received for its subtlety and sensitivity, and Scott Thomas was praised for her transition to directing, bringing the same elegance and observational depth she's known for on screen. On aging in the industry, Kristin Scott Thomas has been one of the most articulate voices regarding ageism in cinema, particularly the lack of meaningful roles for women over 40. Rather than submit to the Hollywood pressures of cosmetic surgery or playing reductive roles, she has embraced aging with candor and dignity. I find it really odd that people will do everything they can to look younger, to erase the life they've lived. Why would you want to do that? This perspective has inspired a generation of actresses and filmmakers to take more control over their narratives and appearances, particularly in Europe, where maturity is less stigmatized. Cultural and symbolic role: Kristin Scott Thomas embodies a unique cultural duality, British by birth, French by adoption. In Britain, she is often seen as the emblem of upper-class elegance, drawing comparisons to figures like Maggie Smith or Helena Bonham Carter. In France, she is considered a near-native actress, a rare feat among Anglophone actors, and a symbol of intellectual and emotional subtlety. This transnational appeal makes her a symbol of European artistic cinema, someone who resists categorization, moving fluidly between languages, cultures, and genres. She represents what cinema can be when it leans into emotional complexity rather than easy entertainment. In popular imagination, though not a tabloid fixture or a commercial juggernaut, Scott Thomas holds a significant place in popular imagination, particularly for her voice, low, composed, and precise, instantly recognizable. Her posture and presence, often upright, still, self-contained, like a character hiding deep reservoirs of feeling. Iconic stillness. Many of her most powerful scenes involve silence or minimal movement, drawing viewers inward rather than outward. Cool sensuality, especially in roles like The English Patient, Tell No One, and The Woman in the Fifth, she plays desire with cerebral control. Recent and upcoming work: even in her 60s, Scott Thomas remains creatively active and daring. Recent and upcoming roles include Slow Horses TV series. As Diana Taverner, she brings sharp intelligence and dry authority to a gritty espionage world. North Star 2023 directorial debut, already mentioned, shows her commitment to female-centered narratives. Future projects: she is slated to appear in further directorial roles and is rumored to be developing more stories focused on women's emotional legacies. Conclusion: the quiet power of Kristin Scott Thomas. Kristin Scott Thomas has built a career defined by grace, subtlety, and resistance. Resistance to superficiality, to stardom without substance, to roles that insult the intelligence of women and audiences alike. She is not a performer who seeks the spotlight, but one who creates space within it for reflection, sadness, longing, and truth. In an industry often obsessed with noise, Kristin Scott Thomas is a whisper, but one that stays with you far longer. The psychology of her performances. What makes Kristin Scott Thomas extraordinary is her interior acting style. She often plays women who are emotionally armored, introspective, or suffering in silence. She doesn't show emotion in a traditional way. Instead, she makes the audience feel the tension between control and vulnerability. A few characteristics of her psychological performances: micro-expressions, slight shifts in her eyes, jawline, or breath reveal emotional cracks. Stillness, she uses stillness as power, not passive but charged. Emotional latency, many of her characters carry old wounds, grief, or secrets that are not fully spoken, but always sensed. In I've Loved You So Long, 2008, her portrayal of a woman re-entering society after 15 years in prison is almost wordless for much of the film, but the weight of shame, pain, and moral ambiguity is palpable in every frame. A pan-European actress in a globalizing cinema, Kristin Scott Thomas is one of the rare actors who has managed to remain deeply European in an era of increasingly globalized and Americanized film culture. Her career trajectory stands apart from her contemporaries in that she never relocated to Hollywood full-time. She embraced foreign language cinema from a young age. She continued to perform in Parisian theater well into her 50s and 60s. She declined many cookie-cutter, romantic lead offers in favor of more morally complicated or psychologically rich roles. She fits into the tradition of French cinema's embrace of mature, intelligent women, following in the footsteps of actresses like Catherine Deneuve, Isabelle Huppert, and Juliette Binoche. Woman student influence on modern actresses. While Scott Thomas herself rarely discusses mentorship, her work has had a profound, if quiet, influence on a generation of actresses. Performers such as Emily Blunt, Rosamund Pike, Carey Mulligan, Ruth Wilson, Tilda Swinton, with whom she shares a deep aesthetic kinship, have all cited Scott Thomas as either an inspiration or share thematic lineage in their work. Cool precision, emotional ambiguity, and resistance to glamour for glamour's sake. Her choice to age naturally and continue exploring deeply adult themes has helped reframe the narrative for older actresses in an industry still wrestling with ageism. Face mask recurring symbolism in her roles across her filmography. Certain motifs repeat, giving her body of work a near literary texture. Symbol or theme examples meaning emotional repression, the English patient, the invisible woman, women who have passion but suppress it for duty, fear, or social rules, cold elegance, 4 weddings and a funeral, the party, the persona of the upper-class woman hiding emotional fragility, women as caretakers of trauma, I've Loved You So Long. Sarah's Key, the moral labor of memory and survival, broken communication, Tell No One. The woman in the fifth, roles where misunderstanding and silence are central, exile or dislocation, A Handful of Dust. Nowhere Boy often plays characters alienated from their homes or themselves. These choices show that Scott Thomas isn't just acting, she's curating a cohesive body of work with enduring emotional and philosophical questions. Film projector underappreciated performances worth watching. If you've already seen her major films, consider these lesser-known gems. The Invisible Woman, 2013, as Charles Dickens' wife. She delivers a performance of devastating emotional restraint. The Woman in the Fifth, 2011, a psychological thriller that leans towards surrealism and explores
Bye bye. Thanks for watching.